So my name is Mandel and I'm a visual artist. I've been painting all of my life. I was really lucky where my parents put me into creative practices very young, but I didn't really pursue it anything beyond a hobby until I went to university. It was like everything else in my life had changed. I moved away from the country I grew up in. I arrived in a city and decided I was going to be an artist, having never had any professional job or I'd never even worked full-time anywhere. And so it was my way of kind of like starting over new, like I wasn't going to go back to the same art practice. Yeah, I remember the first of my Cosmos Bleed series was really special to me. It was probably some of the process of it, because it was a series where I mixed menstrual blood into the inks and paints, and so it was a part of kind of connecting to that aspect of me that I have maybe avoided throughout my life. Watching that transform and that level of trust, because I hadn't been working abstract for that long either. I've always worked with the figure, and this was a purely abstract piece, and seeing what came of it. And watching the process through it as well, because trusting that of oh, this feels great, oh, this looks like shit, oh, this. It was very interesting, very polarizing. I really didn't think twice about it, because though I had never painted with my menstrual blood, the last 5 years I've been consciously working to understand my body. Yeah, and being in a community where it's a community of artists, a community of yogis, a community of people that kind of bare norms may not represent some of the more mainstream ones. I found it open arms there and really celebrated. Whereas then it was the opposite end of the spectrum where, I had probably 3 or 4 potential buyers that absolutely loved the work. And then once they found out that menstrual blood was involved, pulled out of the sale. That was the defining factor. For me personally, it was this idea of really connecting to my feminine nature, and to that feeling of what happens when we hold disgust toward kind of natural functions of our body and the different processes that we might use to accept them. And that's kind of what it was for me. It's a fine balance, because it's something I've had to train. I think too, if you decide that you want to be an artist or whatever, that you can't just rely on when you feel inspired, because there are times where life might get hard or you might get busy, and so it's kind of building that habit. And I really think of creativity as a muscle. The more you come to it, the stronger it gets. And so it used to be something of, if I wasn't feeling inspired, I'd just sit at the sketchbook and do kind of figure studies or doodling, really trying to drop expectation of a specific project until something came in. I think about this every once in a while, and I hope that people enjoy it, and I hope that people view it and it touches them. But at the end of the day, it's a way for me to express myself. I've never been someone who is comfortable with words, whereas with my artwork, it's a way of me communicating in an honest way. I think that's huge, that separation of still seeing yourself as worthy outside of your art, and I know that is something that I still struggle with. It has to do with a bit of trust, of that was the thing, is as I watched my confidence in my skill and in my creativity grow, it's I'd finish a painting and I could love it, but rather than kind of storing it away or having for it to wait for the absolute perfect home, sending it on because I trusted that I'd make a painting that I liked next month. And sometimes, I wonder if it's these kind of romantic notions of the artist that come into play that we're raised with, of this is my life and my soul pouring onto this canvas, and realizing there is a lot of me that has, might feed into my artwork, but also can exist totally separate. And so it's that balance of, I guess, of still seeing yourself outside of your artwork. I don't quite know how to, and I understand that it's much easier said than done. Story of my life. every artist that identifies as a woman is kind of automatically labeled a feminist artist, and it's like, why does that have to be a discerning category? That's really telling of the world, is the fact that to just identify as a woman is automatically subverting the world of art. I say I don't feel it, but what I don't know, I don't know. You know, I have no idea what myself and other female identifying artists may or may not have been blocked out of, like, unless it's straight out in your face. It's this really kind of insidious undercurrent that it's only when we insert ourselves into the narrative that we realize how absent we've been the whole time. But I think too, part of the reason I don't experience it on a daily basis is, as far as women go, I'm pretty much as privileged as you get. Like, I'm a middle-class white woman. Yeah, kind of swallowing my pride this year, where it's like, if people don't understand that I'm just making work, and if they think like, oh, what the fuck is she doing, I'm trying to feel solid enough in myself that like I don't, like that just kind of bounces off of me, because that's something I've really realized is the importance of having people in your corner with that, of really being supportive. And yeah, like there's plenty of stuff in the world telling you that like it's too high risk, there's all of these things, and having someone when you're feeling down to say like, you're doing this for a reason. So like, feel like shit for a day, but you'll be okay. And then get back to it.